All right, let's see what's going on. I guess we clocked in. I hope everybody can hear me. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is the first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much is that I help people to become mentally and emotionally balanced. Now, the whole idea of helping you to become emotionally balanced, I mean, emotionally and mentally balanced, it's just so you have the ability, to attain your highest level of consciousness. Now, when we're talking about, and what do I mean by attaining your highest level of consciousness, it's just for you to become like Krishna like, the Christ like, the Buddha like, the Muhammad like, whomever, the Moses like. Because when you're looking at these figures, what they represent is, they represent a level of enlightenment. So therefore, when you look at that's why when you look at Jesus or Buddha, you could see, their you could learn from their trials and tribulation, but most importantly, if the person that they have became. That's your 40 days and 40 nights. But most importantly, you're looking at when you say Buddha, you say Christ, the Son of God, you're looking at the level of enlightenment that they have attained. That's what that represents. So that's why anybody who has attained that level of consciousness, then you become Christ-like or Krishna-like. So the idea of having your emotions and your intellect in alignment, because now it helps you to see the bigger picture. So you also have to understand, and the reason being, I mean, they have to be in alignment, as I stated. I'll give you a perfect example. If you're feeling depressed, if you're depressed, you're not in your best emotional, I guess, state. So that will have a direct impact on your intellect. And that's what you see, let's just say, with people who are toxic. Or let's just say you were bit by a dog, then now your mind, your intellect you are building a reality out of that. Or let's just say vice versa. If you're becoming like, let's just say, too intellect now, you somehow suppress your emotions. You're saying to yourself, it's all logic. Life is not all logical. No, it's not. I'm sorry to say it. It's not. So therefore, at that point, you become very rigid. You become very robotic. So technically, you'd be walking on people's toes, and not even knowing that, because there's a lot more than what things appear to be. It can't be. I mean, logic is just a small part of it, very small part of it. In fact, to be a whole person, you need to embrace what we call the the paradox of life. And that's how you truly grow, is by embracing both the logical and the illogical aspect of yourself. And that's where the emotions comes in. Because when you get a fucking intuition and you feel like you shouldn't be, you know, going this way, there's no logical answer for it. But you better follow that shit. And we all know and understand the power of your intuition. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is to suppress your emotions, because your intuition comes out of your emotions. We are emotional beings. And there is such a thing as emotional intelligence too. Don't get it fucked up. In fact, you want to be emotionally intelligent. Trust me. Because it helps you not just to have compassion, but to have a greater understanding. not just of yourself, but also of other people. So therefore, you get to see the bigger picture. And for you to become Christ-like or to attain that highest level of consciousness, guess what you that's what you have. You have to attain that level. That's it is to it. I mean, attaining that level, that's what that is. To be Christ-like, to become the enlightened one, the illuminated, I mean the illuminated one, or the Illuminati, however the fuck you want to call it. Unless if you want to concern yourself with the bullshit that people are talking about, but the true essence in terms of, you know what I'm saying, what this is really, what this is really is, that's, you have to become the bright ones. So again, having your emotions and your mental, they have to become in alignment. So it's the whole idea of mind, body, and soul. So now, when I'm talking about, being emotionally balanced, now what I'm talking about here is for you to acknowledge your emotions. And it's a little more than just acknowledging your emotions. Actually, I mean, I'm saying that in the sense of really connecting with your emotion. I mean, with your emotions. I mean, acknowledge it could be the starting point, but most importantly, you have to understand how your emotions work. You have to identify your emotional patterns. Like you really got to be on top of it. Else, I mean, you're not gonna have no control over your emotions. Hence, you will not be emotionally balanced. So, if you understand that, now to become mentally balanced, it's pretty much the same baseline understanding, right? Because now when you're dealing with your mental, you have to understand how your mind works. But most importantly, you would have to be more aware of what's taking place around you because society, your culture, political perspectives, all of these things, they have an impact on how you see life. Obviously, if you either a Republican or a Democrat, your reality would be created out of that understanding. And also, you got to keep in mind, and I'll be talking about that shortly, is that we are living minds. That's why all of us, we are spirit. All of our lives, our essence, is actually based on what we know. There was a white guy named Napoleon Hill. He had a book, and technically, that's what he was telling you motherfuckers. I mean, some people look at it, if you want to get rich, you go ahead and get rich. But I think he was making a bigger point here, trying to get you to see, your life, it's what you make it in terms of it has to do with your knowledge. You know better, you're gonna do better. You want to change the world, well, change yourself. Change your train of thinking or your train of thoughts. So again, your nature in itself, and I'll be talking about that shortly, because I always take the time to talk about spirituality quickly, but your essence, our essence, is it's more than just dick and pussy, meaning our physical perception. And even that derives out of our internal, how you're looking at yourself. But also, I want you to keep all of that in mind because obviously, what we're going to be talking about tonight is so you to identify what you identify yourself with. So now going back to your mental, I mean, there's a reason an American is an American. There's a whole cultural background, meaning there's a whole train of thinking. And if that's the case, you don't want to be in that box. You want to enjoy it. Why the fuck not? But you want to go beyond it because, there's other shit you can learn from other culture too. How do you see the bigger picture if you one-sided? Do you see what I'm saying? Let's just say hypothetically, you choose to be a Democrat. Are you saying the actual Republican have nothing good at all? Well, if they have something good, why don't you take all the good shit instead of having a gang mentality? And if you're looking at shit from being one-sided, your perspective is always going to be limited. That's why there's always going to be a debate. It's literally jerking off. That's what's taking place. To be honest, it's just thing is a jerking off, man. That's okay. Get it off, baby. Do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? But again, you'll never get to have the bigger perspective because now you have become one-sided. And if you are one-sided, you have a limited perspective, and it's not. I mean, you're not even. How do you, at this point, how can you even say you are mentally balanced? And in the occult, that's what we called slavery, pretty much. Oh, having a slave mentality, that shit goes far. It goes very far. Trust me. But anyway, in essence, as a spiritual healer, that's what I do. Another way of me saying this is just that I like to say, and in fact, the Buddhists talked about the mirror of wisdom. And us as spiritual healers, what we're pretty much doing is holding that mirror of wisdom so you can see yourself through what I'm saying. So when I'm trying to get you to see that you are a living mind or your essence, it's just that living thinking thing, as I like to describe it myself, then it's like it's just me trying to get you to see yourself. When I'm telling you, listen, I mean, you create your reality. You are the creator. But most importantly, I guess I'm going a little bit too far ahead of myself here, but to get back to the conversation at hand, in terms of helping you to see how limited, let's just say, your culture could be. And, I'll give you another example. I always talk about this. In our culture, unfortunately, we all look at marriage as love. That's crazy. And because we look at marriage from, as love, so the idea of, let's just say, an arranged marriage, you may feel a little funny about it. You will feel like it's not fair. You probably because you identify with love, we were talking about liberty, freedom, and all that shit. So it makes it hard for you to digest, let's just say, arranged marriage. Meanwhile, in a culture we're looking at marriage as being love, marriage in itself has nothing to do with love. It's a contract. That's why if you're trying to get a divorce, you can say I'm not in love anymore. Who gives a fuck? And this is the sad shit. This is the reality we're living in. Isn't that the whole reason why niggas are telling you you got to get a prenup? So you don't lose all your shit. And what the fuck does that have to do with love? Do you see what I'm trying to tell you? So here we are in our own culture. We are being blinded in the shit that's taking like place in front of us because we have this thing in our mind that tells us that. Whereas if you were a little more open to understand what, let's just say, arranged marriages are, I mean, then if marriage is a business, then that's why you need someone to negotiate it for you. Someone who's a little more mature, someone who understands better. That's why the parents, hopefully, if they know better, because it's not always the case, but they know better than you at that point, right? So you trust them to help you with that. Even if you're looking at back in the days, and even on what you call the elites, they understand that. You become part of that family. That's why certain kings would choose to marry certain princesses or princess because they understood now they have a new alliance. Those were power moves. Mhm. Now, can you love the motherfucker? Yeah, it's all good. But marriage in itself got nothing to do with love. And because you don't see it that way, you have identified with love. And the only reason why that's where the culture comes in, because everybody else sees it that way. Now you come in, you looking at it the same way. until until nigga. Shit. Y'all better wake the fuck up. Until comes in. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's a powerful move. Stability and all that shit. The whole nine, the whole everything that it comes with, the perks. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, got nothing to do with love. You might as well get. I mean, if you want to love a bitch, you might want to get somebody to negotiate this shit for you, man. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes love goes up, it goes down. You know what I'm saying? And people do get divorced. Just saying. You know what I mean? Back to Drake. He married out of love. Cause a real nigga. You know what I'm saying? And listen, marriage have absolutely nothing to do with love. So that's why too, you have to become more aware. That's why you have to be conscious of your culture. You have to be conscious of all these things because obviously, because of the way we identify marriage, then now it makes it hard for you to see the bigger picture. And I mean, how can you be mentally balanced? You know what I'm saying? When your mind is being controlled or shaped or conditioned to see it a certain way. But anyway, as a spiritual healer, pretty much that's what I do. So I hold the mirror of wisdom, just so you could see yourself through what I'm saying and for you to grow. Now, if you're coming back, you already know 20 minutes in. Oh shit, we're gonna keep it short tonight. So 20 minutes in, if you coming back, you already know it's nothing but love. You know what we do here, we break bread. Shit, Nate, this is for you. This is for you. So I'm not gonna keep repeating myself. You already know what this is. All right, so come get your medicine. You know the spiritual healer got it for you. Now, if you're coming back, you already know. Oh shit, I can see you going. Oh shit, and hell yeah, oh shit. Now, if this is your first time, listen, I always take the time and talk about spirituality just a little bit. And the reason being is, as a spiritual healer, spirituality is a tool that I use, right? I mean, the wisdom that I'm, sharing with you guys comes out of spirituality. So it's only fair, that I give you a little bit of background or understanding about what spirituality is, but most importantly too, so you can see where I'm coming from. You know what I'm saying? You gotta see me, baby. You know what I'm saying? You gotta see where I'm coming from. Now, listen, it's no secret, man. When it comes to spirituality really is just your life. You can see the word spirit in it, and it's pretty much telling you the story of spirit, which is your essence. So again, if we're going back to what we were talking about, us being living mind, because ultimately what you truly come down to, oh, let me finish up that point from Napoleon Hill. So what he did in his book, I can't think Rich or whatever the fuck. I don't remember the title for some reason, but I think I'm not too far away. But he was saying pretty much. But anyway, this is what this motherfucker did. He went and interviewed a lot of people that has money, and then seeing the connection in all of these people, which was their state of mind, the way they were thinking. You know what I'm saying? They weren't thinking from a consumer perspective. They were thinking from more of a merchant perspective. So essentially, what he was really doing, yes, if you wanna now grow rich, I mean, there's some shit about think whatever and grow rich. I mean, I don't. So why the fuck I'm not remembering that shit? Hold up, I'm gonna give you the name now. The shit, Napoleon Hill book. Hold up, Think and Grow Rich. There you go. The fuck. I couldn't remember the shit for the life of myself. I mean, for my life. But anyway, Think and Grow Rich. So what he was Think and Grow Rich. Oh, the title. Oh my God. And you see, I was talking some shit. Oh, now I got more to say. So this motherfucker was a bad motherfucker because he was teaching you how to adapt a new mentality, a rich mentality. So I'm saying all of that to say your essence, knowledge, a living, thinking thing, that's what we are. Even in our, let's just say, in me having this conversation right now, in my words, I'm reflecting my thoughts, my understanding. You could choose to judge me. You may understand it. You may not. Nevertheless, I mean, even through my speech, it's a representation of my mental, my actions, and it goes deeper than that. Of course, the way you think, you act a certain way. Then we say how you thinking. We're talking about your level of vibration, in terms of you seeing the bigger picture and shit like that. Then your action, you inspire to act, in a better or greater way. So when we're talking about spirituality now, again, that is your fucking essence. There's no way outside of that. Uh, So one of the biggest misconception is that when you see people who don't identify themselves as that thinking thing or a living mind or as a spirit, you don't know who you are. You don't understand your essence. Even if I'm going back to that Napoleon Hill book, that he's telling you to think and grow with a rich mentality. But just like I was telling you guys, the underlying message for me here, because we say it all the time, you want to change your life? Well, change your thoughts, my man. So if I got to change my thoughts or my life is based out of my understanding, who the fuck am I? What does that make me? A living mind. That's what it makes you. So to talk about spirituality, that's your essence. So now in spirituality, you have something called the occult. Now, the occult now, it's what you'll see in any of those sacred knowledge. It always goes by some hermetic shit, some hidden shit, some esoteric shit. All of that implying is that it's the type of knowledge that you cannot take for a face value. Just like you cannot take yourself for face value. Because if changing your mind is to change your thoughts, so you got to go beyond your physical appearance. I mean, it's simple math. I mean, if you really asking me. So then now, when you're dealing with the occult, with that hermetic, with that dark side, with that hidden culture, all that is doing is helping you to become, is to help you to shed light on those dark side that you're not paying attention to. That's why some of the basic shit would be to let you know that you have a conscious mind and you have a subconscious mind. Like, oh shit. Now, the subconscious mind, you really don't see it. It's around, all that shit, the jazz that they tell you about it. That's why that type of knowledge, what that is doing is simply giving you a deeper understanding of your essence, of who you truly are. And listen, for me, if you understand this, congratulations. Because now already you already having a different perspective of you, and which is your true perspective too. And that's what's gonna help you to align with you. That's what you're doing even in the occult now. There's something called the shadow work. You have your shadow self. So, and everybody must do it because now, as you become to identify yourself with some, let's just say, you used to look at yourself as just dick and pussy. And then now, what we call being born again, or you being, or rebirth, it's now is that dissociate. Now you're looking at yourself from a different perspective. You have dissociated yourself from the material, and now you're looking at yourself, oh shit, as a spiritual being. Or, I mean, the idea is not for you to neglect your material side, but it's for you to understand that and more. That's what makes you truly whole. That's why men, and by men I mean women too, or women, whatever the fuck, we are both visible and invisible. I mean, yes, you may look at me now, but for you to get to know me, you got to tap into my invisibility, meaning his character, my actions. Like, do you see what I'm trying to tell you? And for you to get to know somebody too, it's the same exact shit. You got to go beyond what they look like. Just because he or she, let's just say 6 feet tall, yeah, yeah, that's the physical identification. That's good, but that still doesn't tell you about the person, though. I mean, it's part of them. We're not, we're not, we're not gonna neglect that. Or when we say so and so is a genius, that's because we got to see that genius in that person. Meaning you got to know more than just their physical self. So again, we talk this shit, but we're not conscious of it. And all we're doing over here, me as a spiritual healer, it's to help you to reconnect. That's why everybody is a spirit. Now, the level of consciousness, that's what makes you either spiritual or you're just dead. Because now, when you become spiritual, what you're truly doing is acknowledging those, divine qualities or attribute about your motherfucking ass. Then, because of that, now you understand I need to meditate. If I don't understand anything, I need to find the answer. I got to go within. Or you understand, you need to stay away from, let's just say, toxicity. Because now you're looking at yourself beyond just the physical self. Because now you have become a little more conscious of who you are. Keep going, baby. And if you're not there, well, shit, get on, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you don't want to be left behind. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do. So, spirituality is your essence. Then now I was also talking about the occult. The occult now is the manual, those texts. Those esoteric knowledge, the knowledge that is not intended for you to take for face value, obviously, because it's dealing with a higher side of you. I'll give you another example. Like in the occult, we do say, let's just say, for you to become yourself, you have to kill your parents. And this is the beauty of the whole mysterious language, too, because every, profession, in so many words, they have a certain way of saying shit. But keep in mind, you're dealing with ascending masters. You're dealing with people who understand the power of words. So that's why we gotta say certain shit so elegantly. And to say that like something like that to me, like because I understand the power of words, you do too. In fact, when you hear a quote, you're like, oh shit, that shit was deep. Well, nigga, that's the power of words. But anyway, and by the way, I do have another channel to check that check it out. To give is to receive. I mean, that's what I do on that channel because I understand, the wealth of knowledge that comes in those sentences or those proverbs or those saying. It's insane. And like it's pure jewels. So if you were to just lock yourself in and read all this shit, like I used to do, because I was fascinated by it, that alone would elevate your fucking consciousness. But anyway, that's for it to give is to receive. Check it out. Mm, I think I'm gonna start having the link. All right, so I'm gonna have both links. This link obviously, you don't need a link for that, but I'm gonna have it. Okay, I got y'all. I got y'all. So again, that's why you're dealing when they talking about the dark side. let's go back to your to killing your parents. Obviously, it's not something you have to do physically. So that this type of knowledge is not intended for you to take it literal. Oh, I'm gonna be a man. Let me get a knife and physically. No, 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 no. I mean, I don't think I have to explain that, but you never know. That's why in the occult, no, it's important for me to say. That's why in the occult, we use what is called profane or profanity, and the wisdom is hidden behind it. For instance, if you know anything about tantric Buddhism, you know where you see the women, they are worshiping dicks, but it's not the dick really that they're worshiping. It's the masculine energy, and the dick is a representation of that. Because really, when it comes down to, differences or physical, at least physical differences are genital. Like that's how you know she's a girl, he's a boy. Well, nowadays it's different. And I'm gonna leave that shit alone. I'm living for Dave. Hey Chappelle, keep going, babe. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm gonna let him handle. He's doing it better. I mean, he's doing it well. I don't have an issue with it. You asking me? Shit, this brother's doing his damn well. I mean, he's talking that shit. But anyway, to get back to our conversation here, what I'm truly trying to get you to see about yourself, it's just, well, going back to the occult real quick, that's why we use profanity, like killing him. Obviously, you can't, I mean, it's intended for you not to take it literal too. Like, you got to say, what? I mean, I'm hoping you like, what? Because I know I had that same reaction. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? I gotta kill my parents, nigga. Do you see what I'm saying? Hey, 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 hey. Okay. But anyway, now, and that's why I love, and that's why the Buddhists they use also the lotus as as a representation of wisdom, because the lotus actually grows in the mud, just like diamond. Like they say, diamond, you know what I'm saying, the pressure in the mud. And then that's what you're going, that's what you're doing by delving into, the dark side of yourself. You're looking for that diamond in the mud, which is the Indian call this world Maya, which is the world of illusion. Another way of saying that in this darkness, because it's not what it appears to be, and I have spoken about that, but on so many different levels, like I mean, and I always talk about this. My son loves Spider-Man. His definition of Spider-Man and my definition of Spider-Man is totally different. And his understanding of reality too. That's why when you look at the kid, you're like, oh man, that's kid. But they are right next to you. You know what I'm saying? He's sharing the same space and time with you, but yet his consciousness is not there. And you'll see as you change your consciousness, you change your reality, baby. So if you're not convinced about your essence, and while we say you know what I'm saying, you got to change your thoughts, or most importantly, how relevant knowledge is, your essence is knowledge. So for you to act dumb or do dumb shit, it's you not being in your element. But anyway, now when you're dealing with the occult, you're simply dealing with those texts, those profane, and I'm just saying this for lack of better terms, but essentially what I'm also saying is, it's just that's why they use. A lot of our ancestors, I'll give you another perfect example, use nature. We looked at nature as God, not because this is of the physical shit, but it's what behind nature, the things that you could learn from nature. Guess what? If you have a seed, you plant a tomato seed, you're not gonna get watermelon. And which is the same thing that happens with us in life. You reap what you sow. That's for everybody. And that's why you gotta know, hey man. I mean, what kind of seed are you planting? You see what I'm saying? What kind of seed are you planting? You gotta be aware of that. Well, becoming aware of that, that's what, in so many words, the Kabbalion help you to understand. You become the master. You have successfully now understand not just, the mental understanding of nature, or, of the universe, however you would like to put it, because you'll see a direct connection on that's what metaphysics is. Metaphysics pretty much is telling you the same laws that exist in the physical world also exist in our lives. Then you have metaphysics going beyond physics. Those same physics laws going beyond just the physics. Then you got metaphysics. That's the connection. That's why if you understand the mental nature of the universe, oh man, and which is what spirituality does. But due to our misconception out of ignorance, we look at spirituality as something that is outside of us. And the reason being is because it comes down to what you identify yourself with. And this is the conversation that we're going to be talking about tonight. So you have to learn how to identify what you identify yourself with. So, in the past few, essentially now, just, spirituality is just your life. Just to summarize, spirituality is your regular life. Now you have the occult, which is the sacred text, the understanding, the esoteric wisdom, the type of wisdom you got to go beyond what you're looking at. Out of the darkness comes the light, going beyond what you're looking at in the darkness to bring the light, that understanding, that greater state of you, that higher self of consciousness. And that is you, my friend. That's you. That's just your life. Of course, now the degree of understanding that you have, that's what we call becoming the enlightened one, or you have reached the highest level of understanding. Now, as a disclaimer, when you do, or as I have, it doesn't mean that you know everything, but it certainly does mean you have a greater understanding of how a lot of things come together. So because I understand that, like, let's just say, if I wanted to be, let's just say I said to myself, I'm going to become a lawyer. Because I've had that greater understanding, it would make it a lot easier for me to cope and understand what law is all about. And nigga, everything I do turn gold. I touch, turn gold, nigga. Come on, man, we healing people out here. But anyway, now, just to summarize, spirituality is your regular life, my friend. Now, let's get into what we came here to talk about. So, we're talking about identifying, or to identify, what you identify yourself with. And that's very important for you to understand because we're when we talk about, becoming self-conscious, well, first you have to become in alignment with yourself. So what we see when we talk about a lot of people are being fake, we say it in our day-to-day conversation. We understand it, we relate to it. The only difference is we don't go too far out to understand the baseline of what's taking place in front of you. You have your haters and you're looking at crimes. Most of the crime, not to say all of the crimes, comes out of that, those criminals, they are really motherfuckers who are struggling with their emotions. I don't give a fuck. You line all these motherfuckers up and you'll see the common denominator. A lack of growth, and but most importantly, but all of that shit derives from somewhere. Now, I want you to picture this, right? So we're living in a society where we are concerned with our self image instead of your self esteem. Now, when you're dealing with self image, what you're dealing with is how other people see you. So your concern now is how other people see you. So all of your energy and fucking power, now is given unto other people. You have given yourself away. You sacrifice yourself in so many words. You became a people pleaser. And because now I worry about how you look at me, so I want to have the best picture so I could be validated by you. That's what you see when motherfuckers are buying Gucci. That's what you see in about all that shit. There was a guy, and I was talking about that, who was working, I think it was maybe Wells Fargo, who was stealing money and all that shit. This motherfucker, like, he couldn't wait. And same shit that happens with the people who unalive extentation. Same shit. They did the crime, but now they're looking for validation. I made it. And a lot of these people, that's why they still and kill too. I guarantee you, most of the motherfuckers that do that dumb shit, it's always whatever money they get to. Always, it's always that for that bullshit. Nigga, if I'm lying, I'm flying. I'm gonna fly anyway though, but I'm not lying. I gotta be honest with you. Because I'm a fly nigga, so I'm gonna fly anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not lying. But anyway, going back now to self-image, and there's a whole chain of action that takes place out of that understanding. That's why I always tell people it's not how much you see, bro. It's how are you looking at how are you looking at it? Are you looking at it from a quality perspective? Or you're looking at it from a quantity perspective? See, when you're dealing with self-image, you're dealing with quantity. Who you hanging out with, you know what I'm saying? Everything. That's what you're keeping up with the Joneses. We say it all the time, but let me let you know, it's all it's that's it's that is the design. Now, if you choose not to go or not to keep up with the Joneses, you pretty much choose not to go with the flow because that's what society teach you. Or if you don't do it in that perspective, maybe you do it from another perspective. Maybe you're trying to think and grow rich. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Always saying at this point, you gotta go, keep going. Don't stop there. That's why for me, I always tell people everybody's doing God's work, but they do it in different degrees and different level of understanding. But ultimately, when we talk about God's work, everybody, even on YouTube, like this shit is beautiful. I mean, I know there's a lot of gossip and all that shit, but listen, no, anything you like to learn how to do, you can find it here. Everybody's doing God's work. And now, guess what? Now if you're looking for more, you get to check out, what I'm saying, this fella here. You know what I'm saying? I'm treating you good, baby. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? It's listen, it's the Haitian experience. It's the quality of life. Like I always tell people too, luxury has nothing to do with money. It's all quality. And that's why you see rich people are buying quality. Fake niggas are buying quantity. Or now, you're doing it for the fucking appearance. You know what I'm saying? And that's when these motherfuckers they understand that too. You know what I'm saying? That's why sometimes they will call you new money. Or whatever the fuck they do. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. All I'm saying is I understand. I'm see the big picture. These niggas are buying painting. They're buying beauty. Oh, you better think and grow rich, motherfucker. You better. You know what I'm saying? Again, you don't have to have that kind of money to do that. Do like I do, baby. Home goods, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because, listen, ultimately, that's what it comes down to. That's now you're living a life of fucking abundant, or of abundance, I should say. Forgive me. I'm Haitian, nigga. Please forgive me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, hey, listen, man, I'm doing the best I can. So there is a whole state of mind because we were trained to look at yourself from a self image perspective. Now you're not dealing with your self esteem. So for you to be vulnerable now, that's going to have to be a sign of weakness. Because why? You allowing your true self to be shown. You're dealing with self image here. So going through that transition, that's pretty much what I've been trying to help you guys with in terms of, I mean, listen, for you to grow, I mean, you have to grow. I mean, it's not like, do you see what I'm saying? That's why people that looks at themselves or your haters, I'll give you a perfect example, who look at life from a self-image perspective, they can never understand that, and you have to understand that too. That's why you gotta have compassion for your haters. I'm not saying you gotta hang out with them. In fact, fuck these motherfuckers. You should create your boundaries. But what I'm also saying at the same time, you gotta have compassion. It's like you're dealing with it's knowing you're dealing with a crazy motherfucker. Then you take all the precautions because you know you're dealing with a crazy motherfucker. That's what I'm saying. So when you understand that, then it's not no hard feelings. I'm dealing with a crazy motherfucker. So this is how I got to deal with it. So and that's why it's important for you to understand the science of ignorance too, to make you whole, because you don't want to have this understanding, but yet now that's why the words got to be made flesh, guys. Like they say, faith without deeds is dead. Listen, it's showing you all of that. I mean, the faith that you think you having, you have to apply it. You have to walk like it. Well, if you have faith, I mean, you're moving like the blind man reading a scripture. I mean, you know it's there, but you don't see it, but you're acting on that knowing, that intuition, on God frequency, if you want to call it that way. If you want to be friends, I mean, if you, listen, I mean, I love all of that language. I'm a fencing nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm just making it simple for you guys. But trust me, I mean, I guess, in those books when I'm dealing with those fucking different alchemists, and I mean shit, the link it's how you say shit that makes shit, beautiful any fucking way. But anyway, I have a specific way of doing my shit because the bottom line is you gotta relate to it. And unlike other people who would just, be a spiritual healer, they don't smoke none of that shit. Nigga, I show up with my drink and my smoke. Nigga, what? So you know I'm all about the smoke. If you don't believe me, fuck are they talking about? Again, if you know your essence, it has nothing to do with that. But now I certainly understand. I'm not criticizing anybody as well, because I also understand what it takes, what it represents. Let's just say to be a Buddhist and you making a statement. Get it? I'm not against that at all. All I'm trying to say now, if we're going back to spirituality real quick, that's why spirituality embodies religion. It goes beyond that. But anyway, let's get back to the self image shit. So technically, what it really comes down to, it's how are you looking at yourself? Because for myself, looking at myself as a living, thinking thing, or a living mind, or l'esprit, or spirit, energy, it goes by so many different names. Then now I'm looking at this reality from a cosmic perspective. That's why when I'm even talking to people and I'm going to tell you about your haters real quick, then I'm looking at the spirit that they are animated by. I could see their shadow self or them not doing or having a hard time dealing with their own emotion. And you can't deal with your own emotion because what you're doing when you're doing your shadow work or when you become born again, and this is what the process is, I'm helping you as you become a new person. Now you got to face the old person. So when you're doing your shadow work, or when you're looking to identify what you identify yourself with, it's the new self now that's going into the old self. That's why in the occult we said you have to heal your wounded child, because what we're showing you is the steps that you are taking to your highest state of consciousness. That's why the occult is a fucking manual to guide. It's the guideline. We're guiding you there, and that's what our fucking ancestors did for us. The wisdom is already around you. You just gotta wake up to it, and that's the idea. Jesus already died for you, dog. Just all you gotta say is just yes, Jesus, I accept. Again, esoteric is not to be taken with, I mean, for face value. And only then, as you can see now, and that's how I'm giving sights to the blinds, because now you're looking at it from a different perspective. You're looking at it with through your spiritual eyes. This is your fucking regular life. You know what I'm saying? That's why when you get in touch with who you are, humanity is not an issue. You have automatically transcended that. That's what it means to, that's how the truth sets you free from the material bondage. Now that you know your essence, which is that living thinking thing, you get to see eternity in you. So what the fuck is death at this point? That's the idea. Oh, death, where's your victory? Because now I understand and know I am fucking energy, and energy never dies. It transforms. And that's exactly why we say those people will transition. And for me, I have mediumship ability. Definitely know, I definitely know, yeah, it's transitioning. So again, how are you looking at your reality? That's what makes a world of difference. Now, going back to those haters, because now, how do you, the reason why these motherfuckers, they don't, you see, when you're dealing with yourself, you understand growth. You understand what it means to go step by step because you're dealing with yourself. But if you're dealing with self image, where the self is not being used, that's why these motherfuckers, they always talk about luck. They don't have this. Oh, I wasn't born there, or I wasn't born this way, or such and such is lucky. Me, I'm not, because you're a fake ass. You're looking at yourself from a fake motherfucker. But when you start looking at your true self, it's different. Now you understand. That's why you start taking accountability. That's your starting point. So a motherfucker's a hater who's dealing with that self image. Now that they're only concerned with the physical appearance of shit, and now it's like whenever you get it, because they don't know what it's like to invest in the self or to see growth, to understand accountability, but they're looking at it from a lucky perspective. And then now, if you have it, now you fucking up their image. And being in this competitive world, if we are friend, then now my brightness become a problem for a motherfucker who's an adult. And that's what you're going through now. Your haters now, what they're gonna do, they're gonna sabotage your life. Well, we talk about, what I'm saying, the crab in the barrel. So they pulling you back because what they're doing is, if I don't have it, you're not gonna have it. Low vibration, all that shit. Yes. But understand, I'm trying to get you to see what's taking place underneath. Underneath it all, this is what's happening. So for me, having the cosmic understanding, that's how I'm able to see these motherfuckers. It's like I have I have this X-ray vision where I could see all of that. I could smell your pussiness. When you don't know how to be vulnerable, you a pussy motherfucker. You're weak as fuck. But what you do is you speak the loudest. Or you gotta wear something because you're not comfortable with you. Or you gotta hang with certain people, to get your validation. And for me, I call that trash. It's like it's not. I mean, it's a turn off for me. It's a turn off. I deal with it. I mean, it is what it is. But damn, You know what I'm saying? Woo! You know what? It couldn't be me. It couldn't be me. The fuck? The itchy zone. Anyway, but I'm trying to get you to understand the reason why you must identify what you identify with. Because ultimately, your growth is you know what I'm saying, is gonna have to do with what you identify with. So the haters are haters because they have identified themselves a certain way. And because now they had put themselves in a back seat. So now it's not a coincidence. I'm trying to get you to see. That's why these motherfuckers they always say, "Oh, such and such is lucky." And meanwhile, you could be right in front of that person working hard, but they don't see it that way. Oh, this shit is deep. Oh, this shit is deep. So again, what you're dealing with in your work environment, when you wherever the fuck you go, you dealing with either you dealing with people's shadows because ultimately we are all spiritual beings, good or bad. Now, the good or the bad will derive from your level of consciousness. And of course, because you're looking at yourself from a self-image perspective, you're not going to have the broadest perspective. You automatically become a people pleaser. You automatically have to refute yourself. And that's where the anxiety, the conflict between you and yourself always exists. Or should I please mom and dad, or should I do what I really want? All that conflict or complication that you're going, those anxiety, depression that you're going through, it's yeah, it's all created by you too, though, by the way. Where your imagination has taken over, your actual reality. And that's what you're dealing with. So when you're dealing with self-blame and when you're dealing with self-image now, because your image is not who you are. So when you're blaming yourself for shit that you don't have. Do you see what I'm saying? Now you want to talk about insanity? Oh, this shit is insane. This is fucking insane, psychotic, straight up jacket, like all that shit. And this is who you're dealing with out there. Good luck, motherfucker. Shit, I gotta have my boundaries all day, every day. Oh, we gotta be woke out here. You're dealing with crazy motherfuckers. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? When you see now, you see a motherfucker. That's why people cannot be grateful. It's hard for them to be grateful because for you to become grateful now, you would have to see what you have. That's why you say to yourself, you know what, man, it could be worse, dog. But this is what I got. So, in other words, you acknowledging the self. See, when you start to acknowledge the self, there's a chain of actions that it comes with. I'm trying to get you to get to the essence of this shit because your true transformation is gonna come from the way you're looking at, and that's the fucking secret, by the way. Oh, nigga, this is it. You know what? I could just start this shit right here, right now. How are you looking at it? Self-image or self-esteem? That determines your life. Period. I dropped the mic. I'm out. I got more shit to talk about. I got more shit to say. So I'm gonna chill. But I want you to get it though. I mean, I'm just saying the same thing in different ways. That's pretty much what it is. That's why, you know. But I love what I do. I love my work. I love my job. This is my job. I love my job. So let me work, please. Please. Allow me to do my job. I'm begging you. You wildin'. Damn, another motherfucking hour already. So now, there's a whole chain of action, a whole world that it comes with. What we're talking about now when you become in alignment with yourself. And now that's why you need to be vulnerable because what that is doing to you, yeah, you're gonna feel a little bit naked. It's okay, baby. You learning how to walk. You're crawling. What you're doing by being vulnerable, and the more you do it, you're building your inner strength. I'm trying to teach you how to put on some muscles. You gotta put on yo, listen, you gotta put on some muscles. So that vulnerability part is fine. Then as you do it, the more and more you do it, you're gonna get comfortable. You gotta understand it's just that transition. So the vulnerability, that's what you need because that's how you build your inner strength. With that inner strength, now comes your self-confidence. So now, I mean, you may, I mean, listen to what people say, but you don't listen to it. I'm not gonna kill myself because you don't like me. What? You know how people try, you know what, you're not part of the group. You and your group. Listen, I suck my own dick over here because I have built that inner strength. That's why when you build that inner strength, you can respectfully agree to disagree. Like, okay, nigga, fine. You don't have to get me now. And that's why I don't impose myself on anybody neither. Why the fuck would I want to do that? You know what I'm saying? I don't need your validation. And that's also another reason why this message is for the living, the one who are applying these things. Then when you hear it, nigga, I know, like you'll be like, yeah, thank you very much, King. I'm working for you. Oh, this is for you. But if but those who's not ready, when they're ready, they're gonna find me. That's how it goes. Now going back to now trying to get you to understand why it's just a whole science behind it. So you're dealing with people's psyche, even when you're dating a girl like a fucking relationship, you're dealing with their psyche. What you're calling a good bitch or a bad bitch is their psyche. It's their level of fucking understanding. That's the only difference. That's what you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And your wife or your girl's gonna be better the better she worked on herself, and the better you work on yourself. Then both of you motherfuckers come together. Now that's when you can have a conversation. Now you're thinking critically. You allow her to be her. She allow you to be you. I mean, like I tell people, like that's why this going for relationship advice. I mean, you're not gonna be a fucking asshole and have a good relationship. It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. And besides, when we're talking about relationship, it's a small part of you. It's how you relate. This is you projecting yourself or relating to somebody else. But who you are has a lot to do with it. Or even for you to respect your mate, that's when you have to respect yourself first. And those are the code. I mean, the codes, the jewels. Some of the things that you guys gotta know. You want to love? You want to find love? Love yourself. And that's why you must also understand the difference between selfish and self love. Those are not the same thing at all. See, the selfish comes out of self image because now you're dealing with just the external benefit or the external shit that will benefit you. Then it becomes, you know what it becomes, dog? It's business. But if you're looking to factor and that's what in so many words Dave Chappelle was saying. I was 18 years old. Yes, I get it. That's what I'm saying. You gotta your intellect and your emotion has to become one for you to see the bigger picture. And as he's seeing the bigger picture, that's what he was trying to project to his crowd. He's a brilliant motherfucker too. Brilliant motherfucker. Dope nigga. Salute, King. Dope. Incredible talent. Incredible. So what he was doing, he was trying to get you guys now to integrate a little bit of emotion into it, dog. I mean, 18 years old, come on, man. Like, you just want to suck the nigga blood. God damn. He's telling, this nigga's crying out for help, showing you how he's been sucked by blood. And whatever contract that he said it a certain way. What was it? No matter what that motherfucker does, let's just say he were to go to fucking Haiti, Jamaica, did some shit with Dave Chappelle, that would be for these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that shit is crazy. And then at the end of the day, niggas tell you, yo, you know what, dog? It's business, dog. So what are we making business now? Fuck you, I got your money. Fuck you, I'm sucking your blood. The fuck? What are we doing? That's what this motherfucker was talking about. Oh, he's doing God's work. Doing God's work, man. See, he's the Christ. If you know, you know. He had become that enlightened one. And that's why you'll get to see his brilliance through his fucking art. And that's why I said, nigga. What you think I'm doing here, nigga? Come on, man. See and that has always been the connection. That's why you see a lot of artists and priests. We understand each other, and I understand him as a comedian. His connection with a lot of musicians. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And you could see the growth in those fucking musicians too throughout their music. Either the sound, either they have to reinvent who they were, whatever the fuck. But one thing for sure, and two things for certain, is that you're looking at their growth. They understand the growth. That's why you'll see they experience life a certain way. And so is it for us, ascending masters or priests, or spiritual healers because this knowledge that we're talking about, we experience it as well. That's how for me, I know I could see these motherfuckers even from afar, baby. Even from afar, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So salute to Dave Chappelle, man. That's the nigga. That's the homie. You hear me? Keep working, keep doing God's work, baby. And he's doing it in his way throughout his avenue. Now, me, I'm just here to take you a little bit deeper now. Let's go a little bit beyond that. Let's go a little bit further. Not even beyond it. Let's go further. Because ultimately, it's going to lead you to you. I mean, your highest level of consciousness for you to become the Christ like, the enlightened one. So it's important for you as your growth too. Now that you are following the self, because nothing can be done without you. That's why we say this is a journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So by us saying life is a marathon, what we're truly saying is that evolution as you are becoming in alignment with you. And that's what it also means to transcend, to elevate, to go through different realities, level of understanding, the way you're looking at this reality that is in front of you. So you have to identify what you are identifying yourself with. You know what I'm saying? And here's something else too. Now let's be a little more specific. That's why your parents, I urge a lot of people that you gotta kill these motherfuckers. Because for the most part, if you were raised in a family where your parents are insecure, you would most likely become insecure. It's not always the case. I understand it, but for the most part, I mean, or if you're not insecure, there's a level of insecurity you got to deal with. And that's why anybody who will become who is on his path to become the Christ, there's no other way. You got to do your shadow work. Where the new you have to meet with the old you. And that's what we call the occult. You have to heal the wounded child, dealing with those early emotions. Now, the adult you, the new you have to deal with that now. That's what you're doing when you're doing your shadow work. You're purging those old thoughts or ideas about you because now you are seeing your true self. It's a few things that's taking place simultaneously as you becoming aligning with yourself, with your true self. You are releasing the old self, or you could say you are healing your wounded child. I mean, it could be said in so many different ways, but I'm trying to get you to see the big picture of what's taking place. Oh, it's deep. And it's beautiful too. It's worth living for. It's that, and that's how you are changing your reality. You are purging the old shit. You are setting yourself free. That's only how knowing the truth or knowing yourself sets you free. Because now you start to identify more with let's just say the invisible side of you. And because of that, now your perspective, now you could see yourself from visible perspective and also from an invisible perspective. Now, what most people are doing now, you are choosing a side, and that's where you fucking up at, because you're not gonna see the big picture if you're only looking at it from one perspective or one-sided perspective. And there's two sides, dog. Well, say it. Sometimes niggas would even tell you there's three sides to some shit. Whatever the fuck. What you implying is, there's more than what you're looking at. Anyway, so to be a little more specific, that's why, going back to the whole killing your parent, obviously it's not literal. Not sure if I have to say it, but I guess I'll say it anyway. You know what I'm saying? I think it would be obvious, but hey, you never know. You never know. You never know. But anyway, right? So it doesn't mean that literally, because now, I mean, just like if we're using that insecure, if your parents are insecure, or let's just say you build a little bit different. That's what I had to go through, but yet I still had to do my shadow work because that I had to identify that because it impacted me in other ways. So for me, one of the big shit that I had to face as I became the new person and facing my old self was, I talk about was how can I was allow it was for me. I had to learn how to allow people to help me, but understand it was already happening, but I just didn't see it from a bigger picture because the person I have become, so many other people contributed to that, including my haters, including the people who directly helped me. I mean, it's do it just so much. So for me to even look at it from one perspective in terms of, and that's what a lot of us goes through, especially when you had to earn everything for you. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm not saying that I didn't put the work in. Oh, you best believe, baby. But the other thing I had to factor in, there was other people. Even I had to. I learned. I read a lot of books. So the work was me reading those books. But then the information I was also getting too, it was because somebody else wrote that book. How the fuck did I even think that I did it myself? I mean, yes, there's a level of accountability in it. That is, I mean, I'm not denying that. Do you see what I'm saying? And then I would have to talk about the other great teachers that I have also encountered on my journey that gave me a little bit of something that added to what I got. I'm like, oh, now it's a bigger picture. And that's why too, because I notice a lot of my ladies, hey ladies, a lot of you guys, because you suffer, a lot of you, unfortunately, man, y'all suffer a great deal of low self-esteem. That's why you got to fight so hard to be recognized like a man. And ironically, this is where you guys are lost. How you gonna be a lady to think like a man? What the fuck is that? But because you're already doing that, so when you see that, and that's the thing about marketing too, and great marketers should understand that. You're not looking to persuade anybody, you need to understand what they're asking for without, I mean, without them asking for it. And that's why for me, when and in so many words too, niggas, that's the same shit Derrick Jackson was doing. He plays on your weakness. Any nigga who just straight out the gate, oh, right, you know what I'm saying? You are the prize. They fucking lying to your ass. They taking advantage of you. Nobody's the prize. You have to become the prize. No man is automatically a man. We have to learn how to become men. And if you're a bitch, you're gonna have to learn how to be a bitch. Like how? Why would it be different for you, bitch? Oh fuck! Why would it be different for you? Or is it really? You got to learn how to become a woman. I mean, you're the prize. I mean, if you, I mean, she, it's you're the prize when you become the prize. That's why you make it count. You know what I'm saying? That's why being a queen isn't it what we're saying? If you're saying that is a state of mind, so what you're technically saying, but not everybody has that state of mind. So you don't, you know what I'm saying? You have the potential. I mean, for now, that's for sure. We all have it in us. That's why the truth, you have to discover it. That's why transformation, it has to take place. You have to materialize your spirituality. You got to materialize those God-given qualities in you. You got another way of saying that they have to be activated, dog. And for it to be activated, there has to have a direct action or connection to it. The words got to be made flesh. You go nowhere talking about Jesus, but you go everywhere acting like Jesus. I mean, if you are the salt of the world or the light of the world, I mean, we're talking about the essence here. Again, all related to the self. But to get a little more specific, let's just use your parents. And I had a whole video where I talked about that, how important that is. And sometimes, because we always have this idea of, automatically we are assuming if you're raised with mom and dad, you somehow automatically become better. That's not true. You have motherfuckers who was raised with mom and dad was a fucking alcoholic or whatever the fuck the issue was. I mean, it doesn't help. Or if both of them are fucking insecure or one of them is distant, the other one is a little bit closer to you, what difference does it make? I have a friend of mine, her parents was married, been married for 50 years. And the bitch was telling me the thing she struggled with the most was her fucking self-esteem. And I understand it and I knew it and I saw it. But those 50 years that that their parents, I mean, been married. Now I'm gonna know most of you be like, congratulations. Yeah, I'll say it too. Congratulations. But it was all bullshit. She never seen neither one of them holding hands. Now, I mean, that's gotta be images here. And here's another reason why too. Marriage got nothing to do with love. And now because you going by your self-image, now you're looking for somebody else's self-image. Then now when you married, there's like That's what that's that's what Will Smith was saying with Jada. Bad marriage for life. At least they're fucking honest about it because they are both able to maintain their fake images. Then a motherfucker's gonna tell you the purpose of dating is to get married. I don't know, man. When I heard that, I'm like, what? Well, I started asking for help because that math didn't math. I mean, it wasn't mathing in my. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm not as wise as the brother is. Nigga, please, fuck out of here. The purpose of a relationship, just so you know, motherfuckers, is for you to be intimate, for you to open up. And the more you open up with that person, now that is what the whole idea of taking a bitch on a fucking romantic dinner is because you are connecting with her on your on the fucking emotional or your inner perspective. I mean, it's your vulnerability too. This is you putting yourself out of the closet. Bitch, I love you. Or you stand on the fucking knee. Or that's what you truly doing. Or, having dinner by the ocean. See, that's why motherfuckers don't do romantic shit anymore. They date. And he had gotten so motherfucking bad. I seen some shit where the nigga said, "Yo, bitch, am I fucking tonight?" Nah. Oh, bitch, shit. Can we get this? We're gonna split the check. The level of toxicity is just getting worse, worse and worse. You understand what I'm saying? Like the shit that I see, man. Yo, this internet shit be cracking me up. But it's good too because it helps me. It gives me more understanding about the science of ignorance too. But anyway, I'm saying all of that to say, going back to you have to identify because now going back to your parents, we somehow assume it's the best thing automatically, and that is not true. Especially if we're talking for a lot of our parents, who probably had you young, meaning the motherfucker had to figure himself out. You know what I'm saying? And then now he got you in the middle of it. It's like, God damn. That's why some of these motherfuckers run too. Fuck that. This is too much for me. Let me give this kid away. It's all part of it. I get it. See, we assume a bunch of bullshit that we're living by, and then yet our reality is showing something else. And that's you want to call crazy? What reality do you live in that shows you automatically having mom and dad, you're good? Only on paper, nigga. Only on paper, meaning imagination. But the reality, not so much so. But your parents can benefit you if they've done their shadow work. Now they help you for you to get better for you. That's when now your parents will understand that they are supporting you. They're supporting your dream, helping you to build enough confidence because now when mom and dad is supporting you, not because of what they want you to do, but they're supporting you. Now you have developed your inner strength, and then now in life, nigga, you ain't scared of shit. And most likely, you are most likely to succeed than a motherfucker who's afraid, who has low self-esteem and all that shit. And that's what you see with a lot of those kids. Omarion talked about that. Same shit with fucking Beyonce. I was watching her fucking documentary. I'm like, nigga, what is this? Her parents were on the verge to sell their business to support her singing. Gee, nigga, you must be out of your mind. But that kind of love that she had, come on. How do you expect her not to believe in her? She had the alley oop for her to believe in her. So was fucking Omarion. Do you get it? Listen, ain't no fucking secret, dog. I mean, it's either you see it or you don't fucking see it. But I got you. I'm helping you to see it. And that's reality. Reality is actuality. You know what I'm saying? And if it's not actual, nigga, you dreaming. You living in your mind. And a lot of a statement that we make about ourselves are imaginary statements. Has nothing to do with the actual reality that we're fucking living. And that's what insanity is. This shit is insane. Or we're living in a fucking mental institution. You best believe. I'm trying to get you, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Trying to help you to get sane, baby. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, you gotta identify as you now, the first thing is, I mean, I talked about that already. You have to accept yourself, acknowledge it. Oh, okay, there's something going on here. You know what I'm saying? And then as you're doing so, then now you start to relate to the self. You got to start supporting yourself. Now, just like if you didn't have, like in my case, I didn't have no fucking Beyonce parents, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Nor no fucking Omarion. I mean, because it does make a difference in the kid life. It does. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm glad for the life that I have. Don't get it fucked up because I can articulate it. I understand it. And as a spiritual healer too, I mean, how can I help you to heal if I don't understand that about myself? In other words, if I have not healed my own self. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm saying that to say this is not a comparison thing that I'm doing, but it's just so you understand. Yeah, when you have that kind of support, nigga, you go further in life, and which is true. And anybody who ever done anything, accomplished anything, you need to have that type of support. Now, if you don't have it, that's when you gotta self-support, nigga. Self-support, and that comes with what? A self, I mean, caregiving. It means you take it easy on yourself, handsome. Take it easy on yourself. It's all part of that gratitude. Now you're putting yourself in a cycle of success. Now you understand, you never get there like, hey, it takes time, baby. It's an overall process. Step by step, baby, we'll get there. See, as you align yourself with yourself, the growth automatically is taking place. Oh, there's a bunch of shit that's taking place here. Damn, fucking hour, 45 minutes. Oh shit, I gotta be out too. But anyway, you see what I'm saying? So, but the good thing is, I know for me, as I was starting to align myself with my true self or myself, yeah, I mean, only reason why I say, well, okay, so let's label it self-image and self-esteem or your true self or the self, right? So as I started to become in alignment with myself, then I started to have a better understanding of myself too. Now, some of the barriers that I used to have about myself, slowly and surely, I was being released from out of those fucking barriers. That's how knowing the truth sets you free. I'm trying to get you to understand it because I lived it, nigga. It's pretty much the same. Now you seeing, some of the barriers that you had was because you were looking at yourself from a self-image perspective. You're not good enough. You're not this enough. You're not that enough. Whereas when you start looking at it from a self perspective, you understand, nigga. Anything, anybody who ever did anything, although they may have the skill in it, you still got to grow. You got to put the work in. But again, when you have that self image perspective too, taking action become pointless because you just don't have it. You're not lucky. That's why if you're listening to those saying, they said luck, it's preparation. I can't recall the way they said it, but there's some shit we used to say in Haiti too. But I think they said success is whatever the fuck, I can't recall. But you work. I mean, the luck is just doesn't just happy. I mean, doesn't just happen. You don't just get lucky, that lucky motherfucker. It's your preparation and everything that you're doing, then now the luck that they're truly saying is that that's how you manifest it. And that is your power. Now, because you have become in alignment with that, but anyway, I got my own way of saying it. I can't recall exactly how to say it, but the bottom line is this. They're saying luck, your luck is your hard work, nigga, to make it plain and simple. You know what your luck is? Your luck is gonna be your hard work, nigga. It's never you sitting on your ass. So again, but that self-image perspective, that's what's fucking a lot of people up. But anyway, going back to, you have to identify what you identify yourself with. You know how a kid sometimes, you happy to be like, I'm as funny as my dad was, or I'm smart like my dad. Like when you say shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like you are identifying yourself with it. That's what I'm trying to say. Now the dumb motherfucker who didn't have that. All right, shit, you just gonna be dumb, and you may not say it just like your dad, but ultimately, all I'm trying to say is, even us as kids, that's how we follow our parents. And the idea of killing your parents is not to physically do it again. Hey, you never know, Nick. Shit. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, motherfucker, like, yo, this nigga told me I had to kill my mom to be a man. Here I am. I just did it. Still not gonna be a man. So this is esoteric wisdom here, okay? So entertainment purposes, all right? I keep my hands clean, baby. I keep my hands clean. You know what I'm saying? And if I gotta do any dirt, you know what I'm saying? I still keep it clean. I wear gloves. Oh, I'm such a fancy motherfucker. I know. I know. I know. But anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? So yeah. So we were talking about, what you identifying yourself with, right? So we talked about your parents being insecure. Well, guess what? I mean, you tend to pick up on that. But also the reason why it's important for you to identify that because, and at some point you will anyway, because as you follow in the self, which is doing the shadow self, now the new you have to meet with the old you. And this is now when you're going to have that transformation is going to take place. Now you got to learn how to talk to yourself differently. This is you going back to yourself and saying, babe, you didn't know better, handsome. It happens. But guess what? What happened there allow us or me to be here. Please, let's make it work. You pick up your little self, you put this nigga on your shoulder, nigga, let's go play. And now you tell him, I promise to love you the way you never been loved before. And I'm never gonna let you down again. Oh, I had to have that talk. And that's how, in so many words, you are releasing or transmuting or transforming, or removing those blockages. So that's why you have to identify what you identify yourself with. That's why they're doing the shadow work, going back to your, early ages, and try to understand what took place with you. What happened? What happened, dog? Like I had to do that. Why could not accept help from other people? Well, you had to do everything yourself. Do you see how this shit go? And nobody, and that's why when I was talking to my ladies, let me go back. Ow. What's up, girl? You know what I'm saying? When I was talking to my ladies, I know you're trying to be independent, but you gotta learn how to be dependent, baby. You gotta embrace both sides of it. And the better dependent you become, I'm not saying codependent here. The better dependent you become, the better independent you will be. And I told you guys that too. If you have a job, guess what? You know what I'm saying? You depend on the fucking job. That doesn't mean you don't go to your job. You're not doing you doesn't mean you're just getting a free paycheck. You know what I'm saying? But what it means is, as you're providing what you're providing, you need what they're giving you as you're providing that, because that's why you're using as a fucking exchange to what you need. Now, guess what? Because a lot of us in the age that we're living in, I got nothing against, what I'm saying, entrepreneurship or being a businessman, but and here's something, there's a misconception when it comes to becoming a businessman too. Somehow we always talk about you want to have free time, you want to do this, you want to do that. Well, guess what you're going to have to do? For you to have those free time, you have to depend on other people. And you know what? They're called employees. So however you want to dissect it, you are depending on, we all dependent. It's our nature. Now being codependent, now that's bullshit. That's when now you're not bringing anything to the table. You're just a taker. Again, a weak motherfucker. Because how would you have anything to give if you're not useful? You're not producing anything for the self. What the fuck are you actually have to give? Nothing. And to me, that shit is gross. I mean, this is trash to me. That's a turn off. All the way to fuck off. I don't know, man. I mean, shit. That's yuck. Like that's. I don't know. Anyway, whew, I, I, I need to say. Let me get back. I needed that. But anyway, So now you can see how important it is for you to identify what you identify yourself with, because not only that it is part of your shadow self, but it's another way for you as you're becoming more in alignment with yourself, but you're also becoming your true self at the same time. And that's the process. That's those different apparatus or different things that are taking place simultaneously. So, with all that being said, I think I'm gonna leave it here. You know what I'm saying? It was a great pleasure to be here with you motherfuckers. Let me see. Yeah, man, that's pretty much it. So always remember, you know what I'm saying, for you to be you, nobody else can be around. And I don't know if you guys ever heard of, what the actual comedians are saying, because I was listening to Dave Chappelle, like I saying, like, the stage could be very lonely. But yet we go out to see that motherfucker being lonely, right? So for you to be yourself, nobody else can be around, baby. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're on stage or not, it's the same reality. I mean, that's what goes for the stage. I got it. But for you to be yourself anywhere, motherfucker, nobody could be around. And here's something else too. Always remember, why the fuck do you worry about death? Because where life is, there's no death. If you're alive, well, right now you're not dead. Why are you worried about it? And if you're dead, obviously you're not alive, and that's why the dead is not concerned with you motherfuckers neither. What you call the so dead, because they're living in a whole different fucking reality. Yeah. And also, always remember the remedy of the pain. It's in the pain. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes what hurts you gives you a better vision. I shit. Mali.